So we have a virtual pitch for you. This is TriAgenics. They have developed a 1-minute dental procedure that prevents wisdom teeth from ever forming, eliminating the most common surgery amongst young adults between the ages of 15 and 25. This technology will allow for general and pediatric dentists to safely and effectively deliver improved lifelong outcomes with none of the typical complications seen from the conventional extraction used today. Dr. Colby has founded and guided multiple successful entities over the course of his career. TriAgenics is his 5th startup, with the other 4 still operating today. Founder and CEO Lee Colby is joining us virtually to tell us more about what their Redmond-based company has created. Take it away, Lee.
All right. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to present tonight. As you just heard, we developed a 20 to 40 second microsurgical procedure to prevent wisdom teeth from ever forming. I'm willing to bet that most of you, probably over 2/3 of you, have had your wisdom teeth already removed. And it really is the most common surgical procedure performed on young adults, age 15 to 25. Nearly 5 million people have over 10 million wisdom teeth removed every year in the US alone. The reason these teeth are removed is because they're nothing but trouble. Over 85% of these teeth just simply don't erupt. And because of that, they get infected. They have the highest rate of decay of any tooth. They have the highest rate of bone loss and gum infection around them. They're really a very serious problem. They're so problematic that over our lifetime, 95% of us will have at least one removed, and 85% of us will have all of them removed. And the cost is staggering. You're looking at $3 billion a year in the US alone just for extraction fees. This is a really huge cost to consumers. But the hidden cost, it is the cost of complications, the cost of lost time. The average time missed for work is 4.5 days. How do you put a value on that? Much higher than the extraction fees. So our solution is, we call it 03 TBA. TBA stands for tooth bud ablation. Ablation is a fancy word for killing a tissue tumor. We have adopted a type of tumor ablation technology just for this procedure. It's intended for children aged 6 to 12. And what's amazing is that it's faster and easier to perform than placing a one-surface filling on a 9-year-old kid, which is the average age that we expect to be doing this on. And I know that because I saw a lot of kids in my practice, and I've done nearly 200 of these procedures on live animals. It really is simpler than a one-surface filling. Our challenge is to make it safe, effective, and so simple that general dentists can do this procedure in their operatory. You can see on our logo, that's what our company is all about, making this procedure safe, effective, and simple. We accomplished this through an amazing high precision technology that simply didn't exist. We developed it pre-incorporation, and what we do is we gently warm the tooth bud from the center of the tooth bud outwards, and it prevents the wisdom tooth from ever developing a tooth. So let's take a quick look at a slide so that you can visualize how this works. You can pull up the slide. Okay, so what you can see in the bottom left-hand corner is there's a tooth bud. I'm moving my cursor around thinking that will show up on your screen, but it won't. You can see that oval circle that's in the center of the square. That's the tooth bud, and it's just behind the last molar. And what our goal is to insert a probe and deliver just the correct amount of energy that will disrupt that tissue. You can see on the slide that we have an ideal ablation. That is, we kill the tissue inside the tooth bud, and that's in the bottom right-hand corner. In the upper left-hand corner, we don't want to under-ablate it because then a little bit of the tooth will form, not completely. And we don't want to over-ablate it. What will happen there is we kill more tissue than we need to, and you can possibly even burn the patient. And our technology is so precise that we can control this diameter, the zone of ablation, if you will, plus or minus a half millimeter. That's plus or minus 5 or 6 thousandths of an inch. It really is extraordinary. It doesn't exist anywhere else in the medical industry. So if we can jump back to remove the slide. Okay. So once we introduce this, we expect this is going to be extremely disruptive within the dental industry. Having third molars removed is so difficult, and so many lawsuits arise from it that general dentists refer over 80% of all third molar extraction, wisdom teeth extraction, out to expensive oral surgery specialists. I'll bet most of you, if not all of you, had your wisdom teeth removed by an oral surgeon, not your general dentist. There's a reason for doing that. There are huge risks associated with this surgery. And then the complications are terrible. Facial paralysis. Over 10% of patients have infections that require post-op treatment. There's lifelong bony defects. It's a very difficult, invasive procedure. But based on our animal trials, all these risks and complications are eliminated. We've had no complications that a conventional surgical extraction would entail. And because of that, the quality of care is expected to improve. There's no residual defects. The market opportunity for this is staggering. We see that our sales potential for this could be as high as $5 billion a year in the US alone. If we realize a 4% market penetration of 9-year-olds every year, that translates into our direct sales of over 200 million. And we think when we promote this as the new standard of care, which I think will happen, we expect to exceed 200 million in revenue very quickly. So we have a business model that is not a new business model. Most of you are familiar with Invisalign clear braces. That was developed by Align Technology. They're the world's largest custom medical device manufacturer. They have a market capitalization of over 46 billion now, publicly traded. It's just staggering. And we think that implementing the same business model as Align Technology does, where they deliver custom medical devices, will work very well for us. Let me show you how it works so you can really visualize this. Here's a mandible, and if you put your finger on the teeth here, you can slide it back. It's actually pushing up against the tooth bud. So when a kid opens their mouth and you slide your finger back on the teeth, you can actually press up against the tooth bud. What we will do is deliver a surgical guide, and I hope you can see that okay. And it's custom to the patient, just like the Invisalign model. And what we do is we insert a probe into the tooth bud, and we hit the go button, and the probe, this disposable probe, will actually warm the tooth bud 20 to 40 seconds, and you remove it, and the procedure is done. It is that simple. And this probe is a disposable device that ships with each of the surgical guides. And we use these on, like I said earlier, nearly 200 live animals. Our business model is that we will charge $350 per tooth bud for single use. If you can see a mouth guard, you can actually do this procedure. So very simple, very straightforward. We have an amazing IP position. We expect to have no competition until 2035. We have 11 US patents issued. We own this market outright. We've got a number of foreign patents. We expect the standard of care for this to be within, this be the standard of care within 10 years. We truly think that we can block competition until 2035. It's really quite unusual to have that strong of an IP position for a company in our early stage. Our development status is really straightforward. We are done with all our live animal testing. We had 100% success on this because the procedure is so precise. Our experienced management team, we've got 3 of us that have been in the medical device industry now for some time. We have a good team of consultants. We are preparing our investigational device exemption application for submission to the FDA by the end of March. We expect FDA clearance to go into human clinical trials by third quarter of this year. So the biggest challenge that we've had is the challenge that most medical technology companies have in Oregon, and that's raising money. There's something about Oregon, Washington, you can raise money, California, if you're in the Bay Area, investors abound. It's really been a challenge. I personally invested over $1 million of my own cash and time pre-incorporation to develop the technology. Then I seeded the company with $250,000. We've since raised $5 million, and we have a record cash position of $1.6 million. We're in the process of raising $2 million more. So that will get us through our human clinical trials. But all our I'd say 95% of our investors have come from out of state. It's been a real challenge for us, and I wish I knew the answer to how to change that. So we're reaching out to Oregon investors to see if we can get the medtech investors to come out of the woodwork and join us. It's a real challenge, though. Questions?
Lee, this is just incredible. I'm really blown away by your presentation, and I'm wondering if you have any ideas or plans to expand into other applications using this technology or similar technology.
Yeah, the technology that we developed, we were frustrated with existing medical tumor ablation technology. It's like using a chainsaw when we needed a scalpel. It really was very crude, shockingly so. And we are in discussions with other companies about licensing this technology for non-dental use. It's very early stage. We're just starting those discussions. And we just submitted 3 patent applications that cover our unique technology.
It's just incredible. I remember very clearly my wisdom tooth extraction experience, even though it was like 25 years ago, it was horrible. The recovery was fine, but the actual procedure was horrible, partly because I wasn't in my dentist's office. I was with a stranger. I was referred to this other office, and then this whole thing happened. They had to send me to another office, and then those people didn't know me. I was a hot mess. I was also like a child, basically, and this is incredible. A huge, huge disruption. I'm wondering if we have any audience questions. Yes? Is there any chance it could not be FDA improved? Or what are your chances? How are you feeling about that?
Well, we've had a face-to-face meeting with the FDA, and you hear horror stories about how tough the FDA is. Our position with the FDA is that we're actually more conservative than they are. And when we had our face-to-face meeting, they were actually very interested in what we're doing because they recognize the technology we developed is unique. They had an engineer who had a background in microwave ablation systems. And when we presented that it works differently, they really were quite interested. We put safety first. And, if you do that, you'll get through the FDA.
I mean, if you don't get approved by the FDA, we've got problems. I know I have another question. Yes, Roger.
So you're a dentist and saw this as a problem. Is there an opportunity to go after other dentists as possible when they're using high net worth folks as investors?
Oh, that's a great question. Roger's wondering if it makes sense for you to look at approaching other dentists as potential investors.
Well, we have 3 oral surgeons that have invested in us, and 2 of them are on our advisory board. And since 60% of their revenues is derived from extracting third molars, you might view that as a hedge bet on their part. But they actually are promoting better care for their patients. They see it as a thing that has to happen. And we are talking with other dentists. And we have a number of orthopedic surgeons and general surgeons that have invested also.
That's great. Okay, I have one more question. Yes.
Where are you intending to manufacture?
Where are you intending to manufacture?
Our plan is Redmond. We've got our offices about a quarter mile from the airport. We love the central location. A key part of our business plan is that when we produce our product, we need to ship it and have it in the hands of the practitioner within 5 days of our production. And Redmond is a real good location. The FedEx services and UPS services really quite good. That's central to our decision to locate there.
Oh, I just love to hear that. Well, Lee, this is incredible. I'm wishing you that, yes, one more.
Yeah, Shannon, we've got a question in the theater.
Great.
Hi, Shannon. It's Michelle from Opportunity Knox.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Great. So my question is, how do you and how long does it take to have this procedure approved by insurance companies?
Oh, that's a loaded question, and it's one of the most common questions we get. I have gone to the American Dental Association, what's called the Code Maintenance Committee. They issue the insurance code or the procedure code for that, and they have shooed me away twice. And the reason is we can't get a code issued until we get into humans. So by the end of the year, I expect to be back to that committee to get a procedure code. Once we get the procedure code, we are going to hammer on insurance companies because it is a political hot potato to not promote preventive care for children. We think that the insurance companies will be forced to pick it up very quickly.
Excellent questions. Well, Lee, again, I wish you the best of luck. It seems like you're on such an interesting timeline. Like once things start to go, you better be ready. So I'm really looking forward to getting an update from you later this year or next year. Thanks for joining us tonight. Best of luck. If I had $1 million, I would totes Venmo you tonight. Thanks,
Well,
Lee.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. I
Yeah, of
really
course.
appreciate the opportunity.
Of course.